Hello and welcome to another episode of the AF Cast. We are here in work.
Secret location to not be disclosed.
Secret location.
I think I put it on the last one actually. Yeah.
So if anyone that works in our work, please don't tell us because we don't want to get sacked.
It's alright, it's a lunchtime, we're like that.
Yeah. Justification.
Sheer panic from Steve there. They can't sack me. Don't sack me.
That's what I said to you 2 weeks ago when we did this. I was like, I came out of my lunch and I sat down and I had my diary for going on lunch, and I sat there for a few minutes before I realised, oh no, I've just had my lunch. I can't have a lunch again. Get back to work.
So we are here just a couple of days after our first ever Facebook Live podcast, which was really good. I think we all enjoyed it. It was a good laugh. Something that
nice, good interaction.
Some really good comments.
My wife has told me never again must I put the camera in that position though, because she can't sneak out of the lounge without being spotted.
I don't want to know how your wife discussed.
Yeah, I was just going to. So really good. Had a lot of fun. We had our fantasy draft. We've done a bit of a recap on that, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already.
Quick take, I did awful.
Yeah, Steve did bad. So did Sam.
Yeah, but he's got an excuse. Yeah, Steve's an old timer.
Yeah, Steve should know what he's doing.
I'm the John Gruden of our gang. I'm so old, I just don't know how it works anymore. So it was really good. I hope you check that out. Might get some tips in there about players to avoid, players to pick up, and also there was definitely some good banter on that episode as well. So today we are going to talk about the AFC East.
Yeah.
Probably the most boring division.
Yeah, so we'll skip through it.
Yeah, we will literally do this in about 4 minutes because there's nothing to talk about. So we'll do the AFC East, and are we doing the NFC North?
We are.
Prepared.
Yep.
You've got away with that. If you just held your conviction there, you could have got away with that.
I was just ready for me to say NFC something else, and I'd be like, "Oh, we've already done that."
Well, I was convinced last time round we'd already done the AFC East. So this is like total deja vu for me.
But yeah, before we get into our predictions for that division, there was some pretty big news in the NFL world, and Odell Beckham Jr. has signed a monster contract. What's our takes on that, guys?
What is it? 95 million, of which 65 million is guaranteed. Only Matt Ryan and Kirk Cousins have more guaranteed money in their contracts. There's only 2 quarterbacks. Every other quarterback, and we know quarterback's the most expensive position, is getting paid less than him now.
Yep.
He's moved the goalposts yet again.
Yeah, I was just going to say, is this the market resetting again?
It is. Every couple of years, somebody comes along and resets it in that position, and then everyone catches up, and then all of a sudden they'll get reset again.
Which I guess makes it next year, and this is obviously getting way ahead of ourselves, but next year's free agency is going to be even crazier now then, because that's going to be the benchmark.
Yeah, and it also depends how much they put the salary cap up by, because that's another unknown. And it's jumped quite a lot over the last sort of 3-4 years. It's boosted by quite a bit, so that's why there's a lot more money going around. Plus the rookie scale means that you can't give so much of it to the rookies, because they've got to hold that back for the vets, so the vets are actually getting better deals in their second and third contracts. Who else just signed contracts? Geno Atkins and Carlos Dunlap. Yeah, that's just re-upped. The Bengals re-upped him, which I think was great shouts from them.
Yeah, they had to
doing that. Yeah, but Geno Atkins' contract's still 63 million. I think he's got the richest contract ever awarded to an over 30-year-old or something.
He's good though. He is good.
Oh, he's good. Yeah.
I think I think if I'm the Bengals, you can't not do that, because everyone
they're depleted anyway, so they need to keep as many of their stars as they can. Which team is not keeping their star, however?
Oh,
who's struggling? The bloody Raiders, who don't know what the hell they're doing these days, by the sounds of it. So, who's not reporting for camp?
Mr. Mack. Snap!
Oh yeah, well done.
We didn't even mean that.
Next time we can sing it in harmony.
Did we just become best friends? So Kalil Mack is holding out, and there's a lot of rumours that he's not he's not going to play until he's got his contract.
Oh, this is proper old school holdout. This is
yeah,
I love seeing
this is going to go into the regular season. This
I think so, and I can't remember the last time I've seen this at this level with this high caliber of player.
I think what this means is the Raiders are fucked.
We can't argue with that. Yeah. There's absolutely no.
I put them fourth when we did that division, if I remember rightly.
I didn't.
We all had them fairly low, did we?
I had them third.
Yeah.
I think I had them
not winning.
Third as well, because I think I had the Broncos last.
So we're expecting a bit of a rebuild year anyway from the Raiders, and if he doesn't need pitch up, then it's just going to be even worse.
Think of it from, I think this puts John Gruden in an absolute no-win situation, because right now he's got a player holding out, and I know it's not necessarily Gruden, but that's how it will be perceived. It's, will Gruden sign him up? Even so, it's the GM that normally does that, but Gruden's in a place now where he's best player on his roster, and you could argue maybe Derek Carr, but I think Mack's the best player.
Derek Carr hasn't won Offensive Player of the Year. Kalil Mack has won Defensive Player of the Year. So the fact that he's sitting out he puts Gruden in a position of not having his best player. If he does sign a contract, it could be perceived as weakness in the sense of they had to do it out of almost desperation. So I don't think that it looks too great for the Raiders either way.
Would it be weakness to pay him? I mean, the guy's he's an all-pro in
he's given them an ultimatum.
2 different positions.
He's given them an ultimatum. It's more the message that it sends, opposed to... I think he deserves paid, but it's the fact that he says the actual ultimatum that comes with it, that he's forcing them to do this. They're not wanting to do it. That's where I see this sort of weakness side.
Interestingly, we discussed almost the same thing when we were talking about Julio Jones being re-upped by the Falcons. It was slightly different though, because all he did is move money within his existing contract, because we were talking about the fact that no team does it that early and whatever, and they did it anyway. And I think, was it you, Andrew? You said at the time that you might have thought that was a sign of weakness.
How long has Mack got left?
I think it's last year. Anyway, this is the time he's meant to get re-upped. Maybe 2 at Mack, but
so I think that situation is slightly different because Jones did have much longer
3 years. He's wanting to. Mack's wanting to reset the defensive player market. He wants the richest contract ever given to a defensive player, and he's digging his heels in over that.
Does he deserve it?
Ooh, that's a tricky one. Well, none of us instantly went yes, so there's probably enough of the answer. Does he deserve to be top 5? Yes, you could probably
argue
that.
argue that.
Yeah,
I think I'd be comfortable with that.
But we don't know what top 5 is until Donald signs his. Because he should be, in my opinion, it's very generic, but when the Rams sign him in the next couple of weeks, which I'm pretty sure they will, that will be the new benchmark. And Mack wants to be right in that mix.
I think Mack didn't have a great year last year, did he?
No, it's a couple of years ago he had his really breakout season. And he
so I think
last year,
to be holding out for the money that he's asking for, I guess that's probably the Raiders' apprehension. Not that he's the best player, but he's not the best player for the value that he thinks he is. And it looks like they are another team that's going to be in a rebuild in a year or 2 anyway. So do they?
The only flip side on that,
they're in the midst of that already, aren't they?
Yeah, and the only flip side on that is what you've just said about the Bengals. They had to keep the best players. I feel the Raiders have to do the same. They have to pay him. They just need to try and find that
middle ground
of paying him enough so that he's got value and the Raiders get value for him on his contract, but not throw all the money in the world at him, which depletes him even further a few years down the line.
Because again, they've got so many positions in need where if they put their cap space in one place, then that's a challenge for them, because they would need to have good drafts, and this year they didn't, by most people's opinion.
We've been proven wrong once. We'll be proven wrong again, though.
That's true. That's true. So that's a fun one, I guess. We could maybe put that out on Twitter or something. Does Kalil Mack deserve to get paid?
Yeah, why not? Let's get out.
Okay, cool. Right, so the only other thing I wanted to quickly touch on was just a little bit of a conversation you and I had, Steve, just before we started recording, about Doug Baldwin saying that he is going to be playing with an injury this year.
Yeah.
We just spoke about how the Raiders are fucked. the Seahawks are fucked.
And then I never thought about it because we haven't done the NFC West yet, and this we'll expand more on this either next week or whenever we get into that division. I didn't actually
next week, otherwise we'll be previewing it when the season started.
With a bit of insider knowledge after week 1 games are in the book. So I think they're going to be awful because they were. But yeah, no, I hadn't really thought it through until you and I were discussing it, and the fact that they have no wide receiving core other than Doug Baldwin because the depth chart looked awful. They have no known running back committee. They've got, is it Rashad Penny? Or something
Chris Carson and Rashad Penny are their running backs.
Rashad Penny, yes. No, he was injured in pre-season, but not too serious.
Yeah, he was
because he's a rookie.
Second round, first round.
Yeah, second. I want to say second.
Second, yeah. I think he was a second round running back. So
it was a fairly high pick anyway. So they expect a lot of him, but we don't know how he's going to do. They have
an awful
possibly
offensive line.
Yeah, one of the worst in the league. And the defense has got absolutely decimated. So spoiler for next episode then.
Yeah. I think the one thing just to add on what you were saying there is that it's not a suck for luck type situation, but I think they are going to suck for a really high draft pick and then sell that draft pick because they've got the QB.
Got a QB anyway, that's a great shout. If you've got someone like Wilson that you know you're going to have for 10 years, it gives you so much manoeuvrability when it gets to draft season.
They can just trade back, get as many picks as they possibly can, and rebuild that roster. Because
the Colts did it almost perfectly. They kept winning when they had Manning, and the year Manning got injured, they thought, right, we're going to bomb. We'll get the first pick. Right, we got luck. That's a set for the next decade.
Yeah. Then turns out luck has no luck.
Well,
So anyway, right. So that's our news roundup. Anything else we want to touch on before we get into our preview? No? All good.
I think so.
Cool. So we are going to go into the most boring division in the NFL, in my personal opinion. Donnie Taylor's just left the group chat. Donnie Taylor's just turned off this podcast.
Does he actually listen? Does anyone know?
I don't even know.
Probably not.
He probably gave up after week 3 when we slagged him 3 weeks in a row.
He didn't.
Poor soul.
He didn't even say anything in the fantasy chat.
No.
Like, he didn't say one single word.
No.
Donnie, are you alive?
He's a quiet chap, though, isn't he?
Yeah. Maybe we've made him that way.
Oh, maybe, yeah. He feels he can't say anything now.
So the AFC East, which we will start by just running through. It's the Bills, the Dolphins, Patriots and Jets.
Can we not just round it up as it's going to be the Patriots and then some distance behind them, the rest?
And that's us done. Thanks for tuning in. I think for our special guest on Sunday, Hammy's benefit, we'll run through the division a little bit. Not because any of us want to do it.
Well, I've got a quick rundown if we want to go through that, and then if you want to disagree,
I think we'll probably. Let's
more discussion in NFC North. You're going to do it the normal way?
Let's just stick to the normal format.
Where do you want to go? Right, okay. Let's go fourth.
Okay.
What we'll do is round the room and then we'll talk about the teams.
Fourth, right, I'll kick it off then. Fourth, I'm going with, and I'm still flipping a coin in my head, Dolphins.
Right.
Bills.
Bills.
It's quite funny, isn't it? The Bills playoff team last year, this year.
I project them to be not only bottom of their division, I think they could be sitting first overall pick.
Do you know what could have helped them? If only they had a quarterback.
Didn't they have one of those?
Didn't they have someone that took them to the first playoff in how many years?
15, something like that.
Something stupid.
It was I'm sure it was the longest playoff drought in American sport.
And this guy, I'm sure, had one of the best touchdown interception ratios ever
and that's
posted.
Because he
didn't pass it long, but
passer.
Who was he again? You can't remember,
Doesn't matter, move on.
I think he's on some other show. Maybe, yeah.
I love you, Tyrod.
Tyrod.
So that's, and the rest of their team, even, like, I was quite excited about Josh Allen, but everything I've read about him has been pretty disappointing. Like, since he's been picked up, it's...
The worst thing was when he said himself after the Cincy game, I struggled to read the defence, and he said it publicly, and you're like,
why would you say that?
You've just depleted pretty much all chance you've got of wrestling starting job away from what looks like Peterman.
Oh my god.
Poor soul.
Oh my god.
He got thrown in really last minute in the worst situation possible, and yes, he imploded. I think that's not his fault. None of that was his fault. The whole organisation messed that up for him. Okay, unprepared, thrown in for half a game, and
there wasn't even, if I remember rightly, there wasn't even was there any real reason why they dropped Taylor? Was there any? Did they have one sort of poor game?
Yeah, I don't know. I think
there's none that stands out in my head.
No, they were just a bit meh. And I think they were just trying to freshen something up.
They wanted to see if that was that was.
And then what was that happening again? 5 interceptions.
5 interceptions at half before they went back to Taylor, and then also made the playoffs. He has had total command of the offense in the offseason. That's what I read.
Yeah,
he was before training camp head and shoulders above anybody, even McCarron, who should have come in as the guy, but clearly isn't. Because on paper, when they signed him in March, you thought, all right, he's coming in, he's starting.
They paid him quite well.
10 million over 2 years, $5 million a season.
Oh, was it?
Backup
Okay,
money.
no, it's not.
Yeah, it's backup money.
I thought he got good money.
No. So he struggled. Peterman was then in charge, and then all the way through training camp, you thought it was going to be Allen because it looked like he was just beating him out, and they thought it would go with him. Until this last game, now I don't really know what the hell's going to happen. Yeah,
because even when I think about it, even if Josh Allen does get the starting job for it, like everything's been geared up about. He's got a huge arm, like ridiculously big, but he doesn't even have anyone to throw it to.
Yeah,
Kelvin Benjamin's always injured.
Yeah.
He's not that good anymore. And I think
Robert Woods.
No, he's the Rams.
He went to the Rams. Yeah.
And I think Zay Jones, who they drafted 2 years ago, I think he has one of the worst drop rates in the NFL.
Yeah.
So if you've got a guy throwing balls,
Benjamin.
Kelvin Benjamin.
You're speaking like me.
He's not exactly the safest pair of hands either.
Nah, he's really regressed.
And throw this into the mix as well, because this is what else I was reading. They traded away Cordy Glenn, who was
he went to the Bengals.
He went.
Oh no, was it the Bengals? No,
I cannot recall off the top of.
I want to say Bengals, and I'm hoping that the more I say the Bengals, Andrew will use the power of the internet to find out who he went to.
Well, while we're confirming that, Eric Wood retired, who was a centre, and Richie Incognito got dropped. So 3 of their starting offensive lines last year
so fucked.
The Bengals was correct.
Oh, well done me.
So you've got a rookie quarterback,
bad offensive line,
and now massively depleted offensive line, and a rookie that comes out and says, I don't even know what the defense is doing. And no disrespect, it was Cincy's defense, but we think if we go on paper, they're going to be up against far tougher defenses than that. I just feel full of dread.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're convincing me round to the Bills being bottom. But I went Dolphins because they've lost.
You don't like fish?
Well, the last
don't like marine animals.
So in the last year, obviously, they traded Ajayi away during the season last year. Big blow to the running back room. Obviously, they've still got Kenyon Drake, and they brought in Frank Gore as well, haven't they?
Yep.
So it's okay. They've let go of Jarvis Landry.
Oof. Why would they do that? Why are teams stupid?
Well, and on defense, they've lost Sue.
He wasn't that good though at the Dolphins, but he's still a game wreck.
No, but yeah. He's still enough. I think that was that was part of the culture problem that they wanted to change.
Yeah.
They didn't want him in the locker room, but the cap he was taking about that 20 million a season kind of number, which I just couldn't.
I don't know if any of you remember seeing the reports about when Adam Gase was changing the culture. It was basically just changing people that told him he wasn't doing a good job. Like
that's going to work well for you.
People that called him out for not, doing what he should be doing and not doing it well enough. Those were the people that were having a negative effect on the culture.
God, I don't know. So I can totally see why you had them bottom, because actually I've got them third, and it's there's not. I don't think there's a huge amount between them. I just think
so. I've got Bills as third from bottom, and as I said when I was going Dolphins, it was a coin toss between the two of them.
I think we're all in consensus about that.
Yeah.
Is there any hope for the Dolphins? Is there anything we can think of to give them hope? Tannehill coming back, is that...
I don't know. I put he might be good for the long term of the franchise, but I think he's very much in the Andy Dalton scale of bang average. He just hasn't...
He's had injuries the last 2 seasons, is that right?
ACL last year, was it?
Yeah. Did he pick up an injury the year before?
I think he
did. If he did, it was only a small issue.
Yeah, because Matt Moore played quite a few games actually the year before, because last year was Jay Cutler.
Yeah. So you have to see how he gets. This is his 5th year, isn't it? I think he's on his 5th year options.
I think he's going to...
If he doesn't click this year and he goes as Dolphins yet again doing another change around,
And I think Adam...
Are they becoming the new Cleveland Browns?
They could be.
No.
Adam Gase is. I think we spoke about this earlier in one of the other podcasts as well. He's definitely a coach that's gone this year. There's no way I can possibly see him staying. He's traded away Jarvis Landry, their best player. Most effective player.
So who they got? Devontae Parker and Kenny
Who's
Stills?
injured. Kenny Stills is good. I like Kenny Stills, but he's a one-trick pony, going deep as fuck.
You've got to get it there.
So he's a good receiver, but you need someone that's going to get it to him. And who even is their quarterback if Tannehill's not there? Is it still got Matt Moore?
Generally don't know. Probably, but I don't know.
So either way, they're in a lot of trouble, and there's not a whole lot that I can say positively about the Dolphins.
Where did you have them?
Third.
You had them third, yeah. So we were all pretty consensus on the bottom two.
Yeah.
So does that make it really easy who we've all got it to then?
The Patriots. No, I think we're all on consensus. Jets next.
Yes. I think.
Okay, so let's.
Just back to quarterback room. Dolphins. Their third choice is Brock Osweiler.
Oh Jesus!
Oh my God!
So it is. The fact he's still even got a job, I mean, that's criminal. That just shows you how bad that room is. He should be out of the league. This is the Brock Osweiler of the trade to the Texans, who then got shipped for 16 million quid to the Browns just for a second round pick and then promptly cut. We are talking the same person.
Yes, that's him.
He is signed with the Dolphins as a potential.
Because he's right for the culture.
Because he's a nice guy.
He's right for the culture. He won't challenge me because I've given him a gig.
Two on the depth chart there is David Fales, who I've never heard of.
Never heard of him either. So the Jets at 2. What about to try and make this exciting, or at least worth listening to, because it's fairly obvious between the Jets and the Patriots. Is there any way where we could see the Jets finishing above the Patriots? Let's try and argue
Devil's
how they
advocate.
could. Yeah, let's argue away where they could.
So it's got to be an implosion from the New England side rather than.
So actually, there's a couple of real risks. New defensive coordinator. So losing Matt Patricia, and their defense has never been that great. But if you change it to an offense that's getting better than the Jets, which they started to click towards the end of last year, does that make it more challenging? Because it's not going to come down to divisional games. But I'm just trying to think, is there any way where that the Jets could finish above the Patriots? The answer's probably no. But
I think the answer is Brady getting injured.
Well, what about even if Gronk gets injured? Because then who can he throw it to? He's got to wait till Edelman's back.
Yeah, they've got rid of Amendola, haven't they?
Lost Amendola.
He went to the Dolphins.
So they have a wide receiver down in Miami.
one even the Patriots didn't want to keep.
Yeah,
and that says it, because I think the Patriots wide receiver core has been awful the last few seasons.
But they've always found a guy who's been able to come up with it, and Amendola was that guy last year. Who sort of dragged them through the playoffs.
So much so that the Rams took them off.
So they lost Cooks, Amendola, Edelman suspended, Gronk
and coming back off a year injured.
And injury. Gronk is always banged up.
Solder got traded. Free agency.
Lost him.
Dion Lewis went down to Tennessee.
Dion Lewis gone.
So did Malcolm Butler, but he wasn't going to play again anyway, which was abundantly obvious. From
they
the
cut
Super Bowl
Jordan
benching.
Matthews. They cut. What was the guy from the Browns? Kenny Britt. Cut Kenny Britt. And they cut Malcolm Mitchell. I don't even know who their wide receivers are.
After that, no, I can't even think off the top of my head. But
Andrew, use the power of the internet.
I'm getting there, guys.
It is a room of almost nobodies.
And actually, one of the things you could say the Jets are pretty strong in is the wide receiver, the secondary. So if the Jets are going to find a way to beat the Patriots, you would imagine it would be.
I think your first statement still stands. Their wide receiver room is better than the Patriots' wide receiver room. They've got Robbie Anderson, Quincy Niwua, or whatever it's pronounced, and there's the third guy in the roster. I can't remember.
So the wide receivers, I'll run through all of the wide receivers that are currently on the New England squad. Braxton Berrios, Philip Dorsett, Julian Edelman, Chris Hogan, Devin Lucien, KJ May.
What?
KJ May, Riley McCarron, Cordarrelle Patterson, Matthew Slater, and Paul Turner.
Right, so Cordarrelle Patterson was the Vikings boy they picked up in the first round. 20
Raiders? Did he go to the Raiders after?
He went to the Raiders, The Vikings couldn't use him. The Raiders eventually figured out they could only use him as a return specialist because he's got athleticism, but he just can't play wide receiver.
Yeah.
So,
and the Patriots already have the other wide receiver that you mentioned, Matthew Slater. He's their punt returner, I'm sure, or one of their punt returners.
Yeah.
Or special teams player anyway.
And on that list,
because I don't see that being very
solid.
If I was the Jets, I'd be saying, okay, look, try beat us through there.
Yeah, because the second is so good. It'll depend on the really obvious statement that I made before is what divisions they play, our division, how they're going to do there. Because you've got the whole, you play the same position you finished in last year, so the Patriots are against like the Chiefs and one or other division, the Steelers and bloody South was Jags. You know what I mean? So they've got 3 decently solid games there, whereas the Jets aren't going to have that. They're going to, if they finished 4th last year, or whatever they did, 3rd, 4th, they've got lower ranked teams, the Broncos or whatever. So
well, the Jets were bottom, aren't they? Because they picked up Darnold.
Were they bottom?
Or did
they traded up? Though,
they traded up.
They traded up. I think.
It was
just.
No,
because they got Minka Fitzpatrick.
No, it was the Bills. So Bills must have been. No, Bills were in the playoffs.
So how
did the Bills end up picking
up?
They did loads of trading.
No, they were bottom. They went from 6 up to 3. So they must have been the worst team.
No, they couldn't have been because they were in the playoffs.
No, I mean the Jets.
The Jets.
Jets were bottom.
Yeah.
So
anyways, so they've got the bottom teams as well, so that gives them 3 more winnable games than you would think.
So looking at New England's roster at the moment, so if Tom Brady does get injured, they've then got Danny Etling and Brian Hoyer as their backups. So they're struggling if Brady.
However, the only thing, and it is almost like flipping it back, the question back round on itself, is the Patriot way. Belichick has always found a way.
Next man up, isn't it?
I had my really amazing joke. I was going to say how the Patriots going to do. I was going to go Brady check, Gronk check, Billa check.
Oh, don't ever do that again.
Get that edited out.
Oh my god, Steve, I think you might get suspended for 4 podcasts.
Goodell, no.
So there's no real. I think the Patriots are still going to win this, but I think their time is coming. I do believe that it's coming.
It's close. It's just Brady away from imploding, I think, because they don't have. They've got a couple of defensive pieces, but I'm not even.
It's not that good. No, they didn't have
Donna Hightower as linebacker. Yep, fine on him. But
no, I'm not sold on their defense either.
So we are of the consensus that they'll win over the Jets, but
just
I think they'll
still
win comfortably. But it's such a horrible division. Yeah. Question I posed to you guys before we started recording was, if you plug the Patriots into any NFC division, do they win that division? So
so let's go through the NFC East. Definitely not.
No, they ain't going to win that.
NFC North, no, I wouldn't have them in that.
No, I'd have the Vikings.
NFC Side, nope. NFC.
That's the next thing we're about to do. You've just ruined your prediction.
Shh.
No, they won't win any of the 4 divisions.
NFC Side.
They will beat a couple of teams. They might finish 3rd in a couple, but it's like honestly,
I don't see them making the playoffs in the NFC.
Yeah, that's
the best. Actually, the NFC West, it would be the best division they could get, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't see them winning.
No, they won't win it. I think the Rams are locked down to win that.
Spoilers for next week's podcast.
Have we not done the NFC West?
No, we've got the NFC West and East left to do.
Oh. Okay, we both ruined one division. So summary. It's going to be a pretty boring division, I think. I don't think there's going to be any surprises. I'd be very surprised if there was any surprises.
Do we think then, just to make it not so boring, are the Patriots going to get a first round bye? Or are they going to end up having to play on wildcard weekend for the first time in a long time?
Nah, because I think the AFC is so shit overall.
Yeah.
That
you don't think
they'll end up up there.
Jags, Texans if they get it together.
I think it'll be New England and the Steelers as it always is.
Yeah. I said that before. I'm just wondering if we play devil's advocate, throwing 3rd team in there, a Jags or whatever, just to push them down in 3rd place.
Can't say Kansas City. I had them as finishing bottom in the division.
Well, yeah, I know I threw Kansas City in there.
I think I had them to win it.
I didn't even have them winning them.
I think the really good thing for all American football fans is that the Patriots are about to become the Browns, because when Belichick goes, Brady goes, Gronk goes, they have nothing. And Josh McDaniels will get the head coach job because that's the only reason he's still there.
Yeah.
Once he does, he'll get sacked after a year, because they'll finish 0-16 hopefully.
Cutting.
Donny Taylor just killed himself.
Jesus.
Just kidding. Donny,
So
we
is
know
that
you
the
love
AFC kind of wrapped up then, I think?
Yeah.
Done quite well.
That's my take on that division.
Just quickly, overall, AFC, who's your Super Bowl pick from the AFC?
Jags.
Steelers.
Bold
That was the only one that was
when we did
swayed
our
by
bold predictions, I went Jags.
You did. Yeah. It doesn't sound so bold now.
No.
It's,
No way.
It's like
No, it's
likely
funny,
it's-
prediction.
6 months.
It's Jags or Steelers for me. Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I think
Steelers.
that's pretty good.
I'll go with Steelers.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yep. So, thank you, AFC. I will be paying no attention to your conference for the rest of the year. Now that we've done that, so seamless transition. We are going to move into the NFC North, which is actually, I think, a really good division. I'm actually quite excited to speak about this.
Yeah.
Remind us of what teams are in that division.
We have the Minnesota Vikings, the Chicago Bears, the Detroit Lions, and the Green Bay Packers.
We do.
I'm actually quite excited to see how we roll this one, because
I think
actually
that'll be different to other people.
I think we might have 3 different takes on this one, because
Yeah.
there's actually quite. It's actually I'll start then, seeing as I'm quite enjoying this. I actually think it's hard to pick who's going to be last. The obvious one would be the Bears. That would be the obvious one. But they've made a lot of good moves, and I think the Matt Nagy that they picked up as their head coach is probably the most exciting coaching appointment. I think he done some amazing things with the Chiefs, and the way he had, Alex Smith firing last year, someone who they said, couldn't do it, couldn't throw it deep, and the way that they schemed around him and the talent, I think that he's basically tried to replicate that at the Bears with the people he's picked up. So Allen Robinson is a really good wide receiver. They've got Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen in the backfield. I think it was Trey Burton, the tight end they picked up, who a lot of people are really excited about this year.
Gone from the Eagles. Yeah.
Eagles, yeah. And even Taylor Gabriel from the Falcons. So I don't actually know who I'm going to put as fourth here, because
I think this division splits in 2. I think there's a conversation.
There's a top 2 and there's a bottom 2.
Yes.
And I think that's pretty.
Do you
but
think?
I'm of that ilk. You're of that ilk.
Yeah.
Right, but it's weird they finish in that
And
position.
I also think that the gap between that
isn't
huge.
No.
I wouldn't be surprised if this came down to
There is a gap.
divisional games, like completely divisional.
2 games max. So I'm thinking almost that this gap. It's not going to be a massive fall off like last season.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. So our bottom 2 are.
The Bears and the Lions.
Yeah.
So what order?
Glad we're all in the same.
Imagine
You say that was horribly wrong.
the Packers. Okay, let's go. Who wants to take a stab at fourth?
I still thought Bears. The reason, and I know it was the easy choice, but I thought Nagy is going to come in and he's going to revitalise the Bear and he's going to get a better record than last season. But I still think they're 1 year and 1 draft away from actually pushing upwards in not only that division but the NFC as a whole.
In fact, sorry, before we go, I should have asked this before. Is there a possibility that we get 3 teams from this division?
No, because I think the NFC is too strong across the board.
Because you've got.
Yeah, I suppose.
Because I think
someone's going to be.
No, I don't want to say it because it spoils on our podcast.
So you've got 3. We've done the South already.
Yeah.
That's a stacked division.
Yeah. You can easily have 2 coming out of that.
Yeah, I suppose that's right.
I think you can have 2 coming out of
the East.
The West.
You can have 2. You could have 2 out of really can't. Yeah.
I think you're only going to get. I think you get 2 out of this one though.
Yeah, I think you do
That's
as well.
your problem. So you've only got 1 left elsewhere. So
I
who
actually
misses
think
out?
the NFC.
It's awful. They've got 8, 9, 10 teams that easily should be in there.
Yeah.
If they went non-conference and they just did it on record overall, which is something that's been touted, I think you'd find 12 teams. I think you'd find like nine of them are the in the NFC, possibly even 10 of them.
Yeah.
You know, maybe two teams in from the NFC.
So I guess a different question then is there going to be the top 3? In fact, could all 4 of these teams have 500 or above records?
I can't think who they play on the rotation, and
I don't know.
Going to suffer
So their
because the NFC
full
is so
divisional
strong.
matchup again is against the West.
Right. Okay. So there's argument that you could beat, Seahawks, San Fran, you could easily win both of them or split anyway, and possibly the same with the Cards. Who's the fourth team? Rams. Yeah, you might be struggling
maybe
against
at home,
them, but
maybe.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fight. So that's your. Well, I don't know then. Yeah, maybe.
It's just
I know
there's no other division where you could say that. I don't think.
But you could going back to what we said about the AFC being generally weaker, though, you could argue that all these teams could pick up 3 wins against whichever AFC division they're placed against.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know. But
okay, so you've gone for the Bears as 4th.
Yeah.
I think I will go Lions 4th.
Yeah.
And the reason behind that is Matt Patricia's their head coach.
Yep.
I didn't particularly think he was that good a defensive coordinator in the first place. I think he was
definitely what they called bend but not break type defense.
Which I'm not sure if that's the right approach in this division. When you're going to have Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins, and a really fucking exciting offensive-minded head coach,
Mm-hmm.
I think if you play bend not break, you run the risk of trailing really quickly and chasing games. Stafford's a great quarterback. He doesn't get as much. I think he doesn't get as much love as he should get.
Now, when we had our where we rank all the, did I put him top 10? I would
put him top 10.
round about that 10 mark.
Yeah.
Easily.
I think he doesn't get the love that he deserves.
He's not had enough pieces around him throughout his entire career to kind of help show that. They've always just been a couple of players short.
Yeah,
he's worse than Cousins.
Better for me.
On pure talent, if you swap them over, right, you put Stafford in the Vikings team.
Yeah, he's
do you know what I mean?
fine.
He is laughing because he's got that brilliant natural ability.
He's also one of the
probably just doesn't
toughest
have the team around it.
like he
doesn't miss anything. He gets battered. He comes good.
Yeah,
have you seen some of the videos? I know what you're thinking about. Yeah, but he's getting like destroyed in playoff games.
He just
keeps
going.
willing his team single-handedly almost to win. That's the only reason I basically put them above.
I actually feel bad putting him.
Never winning playoff games, do they?
I actually feel really bad putting him the Lions at 4th because now I think I've got a man crush on Matt Stafford. Have you ever seen the video where it's him when the Lions came to Wembley and it's him? They're asking him the Lions team what the English words mean. Like, so for example, like I'm just trying to think of what one of them was. Like I can't even think of them now. Like chips, for example. Like, and they were saying, what does this mean? And obviously all the American players were like, potato crisps, like that sort of thing. You know, like the variance in the words. And Stafford was just so like. He was the only player to get every single one of them right, and you could see that he was the only one that was intelligent. Because was he Stanford?
Ooh, I can't think off the top.
He was one of the proper university.
He was.
He was. I didn't think so, but he might have been. Was that Dougal? Because we can't promote anything. So get on the Dougal.
So actually, I do feel bad putting him there because I think he's amazing. And he doesn't get the love he deserves. And they've got a lot of good offensive players. My biggest surprise is they didn't give the job to Jim Bob Cooter.
Yes,
I think
he's worked wonders the last season and a half. Yeah, he's been in helping Stafford, and he's brought Stafford up another level. Which he was already good beforehand, but he's right getting up into that. And solid second tier quarterback, and give him another couple of years, and if he refines himself, because he came in the league very young. He was only like 21 or something when he came in. He already had 2 or 3 years head start on everyone else. Yeah. So if he keeps playing to the average mid-30s,
University of Georgia.
Okay, I lied.
He's going to have a couple of years more experience than equivalent people.
Yeah.
As well.
I also think, and again going back to just something I said a little bit earlier, I don't think this division suits a defensive-minded head coach. I know that Vikings have got an amazing defense, but they're very well balanced overall. I think to win this division, you need to be really good on offense. I don't think because you can never scheme properly against Aaron Rodgers. Never.
Yeah.
You'll never, like, he'll find a way to beat you over time. Like, if you always set up the same way, I would pick Rodgers over any defensive coordinator. He's that good. I think the Vikings are going to be really good, and the Bears are going to be really good. So yeah, I just don't think he was the best appointment, and I'm not too sure how good their draft was either. One thing I will say is a hope for the Lions is there's a lot of hope about their running back, Kerryon Johnson, because they've had Amir Abdullah, who's been shit forever.
They brought in.
I don't think they've had one in.
They brought in Garrett Blunt as well.
Yeah, Blunt. I see Blunt as the
1 year goal mouth crusher type. Yeah. You know, but he brought him in on like 1 year and $5 million or something. He got really good money.
I think Blunt and Johnson could be quite good together. So this is such a hard division. I'm talking myself out of the Lions.
And they re-signed Zach Zenner, who...
Oh my god, he had an amazing...
Yeah.
I know, sorry, I was thinking Ziggy Ansah there.
Yeah, Ziggy Ansah, yeah. No, they kept him, which was a great shit. It was great as well. But Zach Zenner, running back, they re-signed him in about March for about a 1 year, $1 million deal as well. So that's where you get Abdullah being like fourth in the depth chart, like battling. I don't even know he's going to make the team.
No, I wouldn't be.
He was basically the feature back for the last couple of years in round. You know, and he might not be there this year.
So yeah, they're not.
It's so hard. Constant flux.
So I've gone Bears fourth, I think. I think.
We haven't convinced you one way or the other.
No.
You definitely know they're third or fourth.
Yeah, exactly, and it is so tight, this division, as we said.
It's actually really hard.
But there is still that question mark. It's Mitch Trubisky's first full season.
Oh no, he's going to be the starter.
Yeah, starter. Obviously, they had Mike Glennon started as quarterback last year, and
sorry, you mean in through the off season? Trubisky only won that in training camp.
Exactly.
Was it week 1? Was it actually? Did Glennon go in week 1? I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think Glennon went in
started the season, didn't he?
I think it was like week.
So that's what I'm saying. So Glennon was about halfway through the season before they moved over to Trubisky last year.
Oh right, yeah, okay. I can't actually remember off the top of my head, but actually, I think you're right. The more I think about it,
So is Trubisky gonna? Is he definitely their guy?
Yeah, I think
totally. Yeah,
I get how he's unproven, but I think a lot of people are sold on him.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are like, actually, he showed enough in his appearances last year.
Definitely the fourth quarterback in the division.
Well, and that says something because he would be,
he'd start for a lot of teams
would take him.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So I've gone. So it's only me that's gone for the Bears third then. I think not having John Fox is a massive bonus. I think that's a good starting point for the Bears. Matt Nagy's. I'm really excited to see about him, but I think the as I was saying about this division, I think their offense now is really, really good, and I think they'll be. Their issue last year was that they couldn't challenge teams offensively. They had pretty much no wide receiver core. They didn't have much going for them, and every game they were chasing. Whereas I think now they've got a chance to be ahead and try and hold on to a lead. And when you've got a good offensive line, Jordan Howard, Tariq Cohen, you can't stack the box because you've got Allen Robinson on one side, Taylor Gabriel, who's really fast, and Trey Burton as well. So I think they'll be tougher this year. So that's why I'm going for them.
And another thing as well, they also did another classic move. You know how we talked about Shazier being signed by the Steelers?
Zach Miller.
They signed him to Zach Miller on like a guaranteed contract.
That's good.
For his rehab, and
that's good.
His knee was.
Oh my god! It was one of the worst injuries I've seen. It was disgusting.
It was awful. Like he needed the several emergency surgeries.
Oh my god! They were talking about amputating, weren't they? Yeah.
Oh god, he was absolutely broken.
Yeah, so I like that sort of stuff, and I like the Bears. I think I've got a little soft spot for them. Even when John Fox was there, I still liked them. I think they're in a good place moving forward. Maybe still a couple of questions on their defense, but again, that wouldn't be my focus in this division. I'd be trying to outgun everyone, because that's the sort of coach I would be.
So into the top
good luck outgunning Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
Segue.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So, so let's go into the top half of this division then. And again, this is still really hard, I think, to pick between these two.
I know where I'm going and I know why.
Okay, go.
You sure?
Yep, you go.
He's got two as Packers.
Ooh.
They're not going to do it. Right, they're going to challenge all the way. Rodgers is going to put up some daft numbers providing he stays healthy, because he always does and he's brilliant. The D's going to let him down too often though to secure the division win. Okay. They're still going to go and run in the playoffs. I can totally see them going the whole way. I think getting Patino over as defensive coordinator should help solidify that part of the team, because Dom Capers has had a bit of a nightmare a few seasons. They kept him probably too long. And so will going cornerback with the first 2 rounds they did as well.
Yeah, that was their issue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it helped solidify their back end. So I like what they've done in the off season. The flip side on that is the Vikes have got the same defense that was awesome last year. They've upgraded it by adding Sheldon Richardson.
Yeah, that's a good move.
Their offense with Cousins, who I'm going to say is an upgrade on Keenum.
Yes, I agree.
So yeah, they still have Dalvin Cook in the backfield. They've got Adam Thielen, they've got Stephen Diggs, and they've got Kyle Rudolph across the middle. And their offensive line isn't crappy. So basically, it's the Vikes have kind of held true, upgraded a couple of wee positions where they want to. Yeah, okay, the Packers have done better, but I think it's more the Vikes did so good last year and they can just keep doing the same.
What about this as a spanner for the Vikings? And I'll get to my prediction in a minute, but how much of a blow do you think it is losing Pat Shermer? Remember that's happened.
Well, yeah, I suppose, yeah, I totally see what you mean. Because we haven't talked about NFC East yet, but no doubt he will get discussed further when we do that division next week.
So you've got a new quarterback with a new offensive coordinator. Dalvin Cook.
Pick up that whisper there, everybody. Dr. Smith, go and find me my answer.
I just can't remember who it was.
The new offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
John DeFilippo.
Oh, in fact, he was the guy that was at the Eagles, actually. So that's not bad, actually.
It's not. Was he the quarterback's coach?
Yeah, he was the quarterback's coach for Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
So
and Foles, you could argue.
Yeah. So it's not the worst move in the world, but it's just a lot of.
It depends how much the scheme changes. But I don't know.
Cousins is a throwing quarterback. All day long, he actually, as a Redskins fan, he was so much worse at the simple handoffs than he was throwing the ball 50 yards, which was extremely frustrating.
What's the depth chart? I mean, they obviously Laquan Treadwell, sorry, that they got 2 years ago as a first round
Treadwell
pick, hasn't quite clicked. But if he clicks this year as well,
it's good.
Another piece, they're like, bloody hell, they're even more dangerous.
So they've got Diggs, who's he's came on leaps and bounds.
Diggs, Thielen.
Yep.
I mean,
Rudolph.
So
Dalvin Cook.
My thinking behind it was, it's going to be tight. There's only going to be a game between them. The Vikings will just pep them. But the two of them, I've got the two of them in the playoffs. No questions asked.
Yeah, I think it's so.
I think this is the hardest division that we've done.
But actually, if you look at their rosters, the pieces that the Vikings have around about Cousins are much better than the pieces that the Packers have around Rodgers.
Yep.
But Rodgers is Rodgers.
I'm gonna. So, would you rather Stephon Diggs over Devontae Adams? Because I definitely wouldn't. I would have Adams all day.
At the minute, I say yeah.
I would have Adams all day.
I totally get you. Yeah. And they've got Cobb. So their 1-2 punch isn't horrific.
Cobb had a down year last year, but let's remember
Rodgers wasn't well.
Rodgers wasn't there.
Wasn't there a stat? I don't know what the number is, but there was a stat that was drawn out about how much worse Jordan Nelson was when Rodgers wasn't playing versus when he was, and I think Cobb has the same effect. Rodgers makes him better. So
let's remember it was Brett Hundley was the quarterback. If I'm anyone in that division, if I was any team playing the Packers, you were going to let him throw it all day long.
Oh yeah.
You were going to let him try and beat you through the air.
They had no massive running back presence, and that's not. I'm it's in my opinion not been fully addressed either. They do not have the guy like a lot of other teams.
Yeah, do. I think.
So Ty Montgomery is their lead back. Is that right?
Jamal Williams, I think they're talking about is going to be their lead.
And Aaron Jones was humming and hawing.
They also drafted 2 running backs, I think, later on. So Okay, I'm just going to go on with mine. I'm going to say the Vikings are second. The reason I think that is because Kirk Cousins, as good as he is, he's also really bad. In the same game, and this is first hand as a Redskins fan. I watched it last year. I watched the year before that. Even when he goes on crazy tears, he still makes stupid fucking decisions all the time, like continually, and it's unbelievably frustrating. So I think these could come back to haunt them, because the Vikings are going to have a tough schedule because of where they finished. They're not going to have an easy ride in a tough division where mistakes will punish you.
The Saints, the Eagles, and the Rams on the roster anyway, because that was your other division winners, plus whatever NFC division, because we know they're also tough against each other. You're knackered, doesn't matter who you face. Do you know what I mean?
So they've got Saints, Eagles, Rams,
anyway,
49ers, Cardinals,
they've got
and
Packers
Seahawks.
twice. And they've got about to the same extent Lions and the Bears, who we could argue they could split. You know, it's not gimmies.
Yeah, no, I think Cousins could cause them a bit of trouble. And I think losing Pat Shurmur will be, even so DeFilippo is a good addition actually, but I think Shurmur had that offense firing last year with Case Keenum. Imagine what he could have done with Cousins. So I think that will be tough for them. But the main reason, and this is not even just me being an Aaron Rodgers fanboy, I can't remember how many years ago it was, but when he went, when he was pissed off, and I think it was the Super Bowl year, when he came back off of a bad injury, and he was just pissed.
First time he broke his collarbone. The season after that, he came back and he was almost, like we said it earlier, but he almost single-handedly dragged them through. And the fact the defense was fighting against him so much, and he was still single-handedly, to an extent, ripping the shit out of the offense to take them all away.
He did that the season before last as well, when they didn't start great and then ran the table, as they say.
Yeah, I remember
was that the year that they faced the 49ers and Kaepernick ran absolute circles around them, which was just
are you talking about
a couple of years before again?
Are you talking about the year where he done the double Hail Mary in the season, the one where he done it against the Lions
Seahawks.
and the one against
it was the Falcons ended up getting to the Super Bowl, but there was then there was the late play against the Giants in the playoffs with the basically the playground.
Oh my god!
The playground route where he basically told them there and then, this is what we're running, and they hadn't practiced it or anything. It wasn't in the playbook. It was a total made up school ground sort of stuff.
I remember so obviously I've only been in the NFL for a couple of years now, but I think it was the first year where I properly started watching it, like really every single game. And I was off work on the Friday, and the Thursday night game was the Packers versus the Lions, where he threw that Hail Mary, and I stayed up to 4 a.m. and I
remember because you had you videoed it and sent me it at like 4 a.m. where you got fucking yes, and I think you've got your arse kicked for waking house up, did you know?
Yeah, I got my balls kicked for that one, but I mean literally it was amazing watching him, do the Russell Wilson style pirouettes running about, and then he chucks this like 70-yard bomb all the way into the end zone, and I think it was Richard Rodgers went up and caught it. But unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. Nobody can do what you can argue all you want that Brady's the best quarterback of all time, or whatever you say. Brady can't do what Aaron Rodgers can do.
Yeah.
End of story.
You're not going to get an argument here.
And for that reason, that's why he's the best quarterback for me. And that's enough.
But he's still going to be second in this division, I think.
Whoa! Yes. Well done. Thanks, Dr. Smith.
I just think that as I've said, I prefer the pieces that Cousins has around him, and he's an upgrade on Keenum.
Actually, here's another one then. So would you rather Jimmy Graham or Kyle Rudolph? Remember Jimmy Graham's there? Well,
how
certain you are about how much better Cousins' pieces are, I'm not sure.
No, but I've got a slightly different take on that question, because I'm not so sold on either of them at tight end compared to some of the other tight ends in the league. Rudolph was okay for a couple of seasons, but I'm not quite sure whether it's because of injuries and whatnot has he fallen off a bit.
Didn't have a great year.
You don't know what Jimmy Graham you're going to get. If you got Jimmy Graham, it was at the Saints 3-4 years ago. It's not even a question, right? Because he was absolutely taking.
So let me ask this question: if you had one quarterback to try and get the best out of Jimmy Graham, who would you pick?
Well, yeah, that'd be Rodgers, wouldn't it? Really?
Would it though?
Well, that's where he's going.
Or would it be Drew Brees who got the best out of him previously?
Nah, Drew Brees can't throw the ball anymore. He's going down the Eli Manning route. Hot take.
No. That's come on.
Nah.
You're talking crazy.
I say if we looked at the numbers, I would say that you would see clear regression. I think we'll take that off.
Because me and you were going to do this the other day and I never got round to finishing it. We're going to rank the quarterbacks for the starting teams, right?
Okay, cool. Right, so you're saying the Vikings are going to win it because they've got slightly better takes. So, but we're all in agreement that is an unbelievably tough division to call.
God, yeah.
And realistically, there's a way to argue yourself into anyone winning that division.
Yeah. Well, no.
Maybe
as
not.
Long as we call the Vikings.
I think for me, it's it's a clear split between.
Between the two of them, though, you can argue both quite easily.
But then you could argue that the Lions will end up finishing second. I can't see them winning, but I could see them second. I can't see them finishing above both the Packers and the Vikings, but above one of them maybe.
And is it only if like Rodgers get injured that the Packers fall though? Or even with a healthy Rodgers, do you think the Lions would actually still do better than them over the course of the season?
No, I think with Rodgers firing.
No, it's just him. It really is for me. I just think when he
the wider piece around what the Packers have had at quarterback over the last 2 decades and what they've achieved is criminal.
Oh, absolutely, yes, yeah. But that's no failing on Favre or.
No, it's just never addressed their defense.
They've never been given the pieces around them to win. They've only won 2 Super Bowls. That should have been those 2 quarterbacks should have won 10 between them.
Yeah, totally.
That's why we love the NFL though. Party.
Yep. Yes, hell yes.
Okay, so in summary, awesome division. It's going to be really exciting to watch. A lot of good stories in there to look out for over the piece, and it'll be exciting to see where they all end up over the course of the season.
See how right we get it.
Watch this. Bears finish first.
No,
Kirk Cousins dies. Aaron Rodgers throws 900 interceptions
for 2 touchdowns.
Actually, one final thing I wanted to say about just the Packers. So they picked up Deshaun Kaiser from the Browns.
Yeah, so if Rodgers does get injured, they're fucked.
last night in the Packers offense, or the night before, I can't remember, 400 yards and 2 touchdowns to Deshaun Kaiser.
No way.
No interceptions. So
do you know what, actually there is an argument that it's just because he was with the Browns that he didn't do very well. He's not had long enough of an audition for me to be totally giving up on him.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that
it's a drop, but it's maybe not as severe as what it would have been in the past. Yeah.
And also, he's from how bad he was at the Browns
to become the 4th quarterback in the division, though.
Oh, easy,
easy.
I mean, yeah.
We were saying Trubinsky in the minute on paper is the worst, but if Packers lose Rodgers, then all of a sudden he's not the worst anymore.
Okay, so that has been the NFC North. The North remembers. I wish I said that earlier on.
Is that better my joke?
It was said with so little conviction.
I think that's a Game of Thrones reference. I don't really know. I'm going to throw it in it anyway because he knows nothing because he's Jon Snow.
Yeah, we could have done so many jokes that I didn't even think of, like the King in the North.
Aaron Rodgers, King in the North.
Shit, we should have done that. Green Bay has loads of snow because it's always freezing. So does Minnesota and Chicago.
The fans, the White Walkers.
Yeah, we've totally botched this.
I love it when it gets to December and the stadium is packed. You've got 100,000 people there, but they're all wearing like 18 layers. They all look like Eskimos. They're all stuck there, massive fat.
I love how the town in Green Bay has got like a really small population.
It's tiny.
It's the only publicly owned team,
which is also awesome.
Do you know that? Yeah. So they don't have like a supreme owner, whereas all the other 31 do. They're owned more under a group thinking type.
I remember watching a program on BBC. It was Reggie Yates on. He went to Green Bay as part of the. Obviously, they were trying to promote NFL London and all sort of stuff. So he went to Green Bay to see how it was, and he went to this little old woman's house, and she was an owner, and she'd been like a Green Bay fan since she was like 14, and she was like 70 odd. It was just it was really cool, like hearing how she was an owner of an NFL team, and she stayed like across the road from the stadium, and like her whole house was just Green Bay. It's just something you don't get here. You just don't get that attachment to sport in the UK. Not the way that they do in America.
Their fanatics go all in. It's a total next level, just daft. Like
if you look at football games, for example, you don't see people like the Raiders fans. You do not see people going.
Millwall.
No. No, they might be crazy, but I mean, like the Raiders fans go. Like
they generally kill 2-3 people a season.
No, I don't mean in that. What I mean is like invested in the brand of the.
You mean them all dressing up like the Black Hole and they're all in the suits and everything. Oh, God,
you don't get that.
So
like obviously football teams have nicknames as well and all that sort of shit, but you don't get that. You don't get people going into their house and it's like a fucking shrine to their club, which I think is really cool. So yeah, anyway, that was a little bit off topic. So we've been the AF cast. We've ran over our lunch breaks.
No, we haven't.
We're going to get sacked.
I'll edit this down to 55 minutes, just so it says I did not take more than an hour for my lunch.
And I would like to thank everyone that's listened to us. We've got two more divisions to cover, which will be the NFC East. I don't know why you didn't have me hosting that one. Idiots.
It's the rotation. Come on.
Fuck the rotation.
Well, you can do the East.
I don't want to.
What we'll do is we'll add an extra random episode in the middle, so it rotates.
No, I don't want to. I don't want to. Anyway, so thank you so much for listening to us. You can find us on Twitter.
Where about on Twitter, Gav?
Pass.
At the AFcast.
And while you're on the Twitter, check out the NFL Challenge League that we've got set up. It's not set up as I speak now, but it will be by the time this gets published.
Yeah, you've got a few days. It's like this ain't going out till the weekend.
Action for Andrew.
Come and see how you are against us in that format. You're not going to lose.
Okay.
Prediction.
Okay, so Steve, where can we find you?
On Twitter at WisePranker or on the Facebooks under Stephen Houserath.
And Steve, where can they find me?
They find you on Twitter at GavJohnMill123.
No, the answer was the internet.
God damn it, Steve.
And you can get me at AndrewDHD. Gav, catchphrase?
What does DHD stand for?
We haven't completed Gav Bingo today, have we?
No, we have. I said Tyrod Taylor. We just spoke about him.
Yeah.
No fantasy champ reference.
Oh, guess who's the fantasy champ then?
Should have waited till after we'd
you can edit that out.
Okay, so
thanks for listening.
Bye.
You've been listening to another great podcast from the Fair City Podcast Network, a group dedicated to connecting and developing podcasts. Check out fcpod.net for more great podcasts and content.